I have so many updates. I don't know where to fit everything. So I'm gonna be really fast. So if you don't catch something, oh well. Well, first of all, we just recorded a wonderful podcast with Peter Greenspoon, who's the national leader on cannabis world. His second book, he beat me to a punch. He wrote a book on cannabis for older adults, which so now I don't have to write it. I'm happy about that actually. But we got to talk about this new law that outlawed all the hemp industry out of this country, made all hemp criminal, and this just got passed a few weeks ago. It goes into effect 12, 11 months from now, roughly. So we got to discuss what this is all about and the fact how we feel about it. So please stay tuned as soon as this podcast comes out on both all of the podcasts, wherever your favorite platform for podcasting is, but it's also going to be put on our YouTube channel. So just want to put the quick plug for that. Those of you who have been seeing this whole sudden, oh, there's a new type of dementia, and what do we do about it? And that everybody's going to get it. And New York Times says that how come public doesn't know about it? Well, it's not new. So this is something called late, LATE, and they're claiming that it's a sort of a distinguishable entity, different from Alzheimer's disease. It is. We understand that it's different from Alzheimer's disease now, mostly because we've been using biomarkers routinely for a lot of patients in the last couple of years, and there's definitely a way to separate late from AD from Alzheimer's disease. I wouldn't necessarily say that somehow public has to worry about this new entity. There is no specific treatment for it versus AD. There is no specific um, kind of way of assessing it differently. In fact, the way of assessing it is basically the same way we would assess for Alzheimer's. It's just a slightly different decision tree. But it presents a little differently. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this today. I will be doing a very detailed video on this in the next couple of weeks whenever I have half an hour fully dedicated to the recording. I do want to separate some facts and myths. There is some ideation in the media, which I find crazy, that somehow this condition will be better treated than Alzheimer's disease. I can guarantee you that it will not be. In fact, I actually guarantee you it will be treated worse than Alzheimer's disease, but that's my opinion for now. I don't have any way of proving that to you. So keep that up. It's definitely fascinating that now in this era of biomarkers, we are able to start truly understanding that cognitive decline is not one and all. It's not all Alzheimer's, that it's a lot more sophisticated. And I do think in the long run, this is a very important advance. I think it will lead us to understanding pathology better. It will lead us to understand drivers of pathology better. So I think I'm really commanding the media in a sense. Rarely I do so, but here I am to featuring this despite this being super complex. And by the way, if you want to understand the exact name, please go ahead and read, but it's sophisticated. But basically, there is no word dementia in there. It's the word encephalopathy, which kind of means that the brain is not working well, or there's an potential inflammation in the brain. So it's a very unique entity, and probably a lot of patients with Alzheimer's or quote unquote Alzheimer's actually don't have Alzheimer's, have late. And again, so that I'll stop at that. The third topic is a couple of days ago, the study came out in France showing safety of COVID vaccine for the past 4 years. It's a very large study of somewhere close to 30 million patients. It is published in JAMA Open Network. I'm going to give you a link. Do take a Oh, that's interesting. That's a very weird link. Hold on, let me see. I can't post that link. It's too long. Hmm. Fascinating. Okay. Apologies about that. How do I get rid of this now? Huh. That's how. Okay. Let me try something else here. See how I can figure this out. Well, if I won't be able to, oh, here, I'm gonna put the link to the um, PubMed. PubMed is a national database of all the articles. So this is the link. It's not a link to an actual journal. You can go from there and you will see. It's an open access, so you can read the entire article. And basically, in short, patients who had the vaccine, so about 30% lower mortality within 6 months after the vaccination, It's quite significant. And what's really critical, let me actually do this as it's easier to share my screen, no matter how messy my screen may look. I apologize for that. But I'm going to point to this. So this is the results. And what I really want to point you out, you see this, so CI? CI stands for confidence interval. When the confidence interval is so narrow, the accuracy of this result is beyond superb. In typical large controlled trials, the CI could have a variability of 2, 3, 4 points, something from like 1 to 5. And then you know that the accuracy is not necessarily very high. But something that narrow typically indicates that from statistical perspective, the chances of this being by mistake is zero in essence. So this is a real finding. Now, could this be somehow manipulated? I mean, anything can be manipulated, but I don't really feel why would that be of an interest for a large research team in France to do that. So it makes a lot of sense. And I think what it really points toward to is the fact that anybody with more than an average risk for comorbidities of COVID should really take this study very seriously. Why? Well, because what this shows is that we know that both vaccine and the COVID have problems, right? So they have pro-inflammatory triggering effect. But it seems like that the COVID itself is dramatically worse. That's basically what this means. So that if you get partial protection from the vaccine when you do get COVID, or if you don't get COVID, your long-term inflammatory complications seems to be lower. Now, that's not to say that there are no patients who are going to get really seriously sick after the vaccine long term. We're quite well aware of the fact that there is a what's called a post-vaccine long COVID-like syndrome. We've seen studies on that. So, but nonetheless, I think for to see numbers like this is for me is quite reassuring. Okay, so let's we have about 4 minutes for my part, so let's do Q&A. I somehow managed to cover three large topics in 8 minutes. I'll take it. All right, norovirus update. Yeah, it's everywhere. Wash your hands. If somebody gets diarrhea close to you, don't hang out with them. I just had a patient who went going through it. It's everywhere. It's not any new. Like typically, we do see, we do see this virus coming around the winter quite often. Unfortunately, it's usually in some kind of a set facilities like nursing homes, and then the entire wing of a nursing home gets all sick and all. Bad. It's a bad guy. I mean, yeah, it'll pass, but it'll potentially can put you in a hospital if you get dehydrated. So keep an eye on this. All right, I have read about the availability of whole body MRI. Okay, all right. So you guys all following the Trump health. Oh, good grief. So it's one of the most wasted tests, one of the least useful, completely wasted tests. Why? When you do the whole body MRI, you can only look for very specific anatomical issues. You are not going to see molecular dysfunctions. You are not going to see a cellular dysfunctions. You are not going to see a tissue dysfunction or organ dysfunctions. You're going to see early tumors. Okay. You're going to see some structural vascular anomalies. And you're potentially going to see a birth-related problems that are very weird, could trigger a whole slew of subsequent procedures and very dangerous biopsies and all kinds of crap for no reason. So I would say the whole body MRI is a scam of a whole national magnitude. That's my opinion. You're gonna follow all this longevity gurus telling you to get them? Don't. MRI is a clinical test that must be done looking for a specific abnormality related to the first clinical findings and then likely some other imaging. If you're doing them for pure screening, you have to do two things. If you decide to not listen to me, which is fine, I get it, you have to have a very advanced capacity to separate a noise on MRI and what's called incidental, completely useless findings from a real deal. The problem is, how are you going to do that? If you're, Peter Attia or Bill Johnson, who have millions of dollars and have a doctor who can sit down and say, I don't care about legal issues here. I'm just going to tell you what I really think about this. You're going to have really hard time finding someone who's going to look at some kind of a you know, I don't know, a lesion in a liver, for example, and say, is this a cancer or not? And you can imagine if there is even a tiny chance of this being cancer, radiologists are going to write potential cancer. You can imagine what that's going to trigger. And you can imagine doing liver biopsy for no reason, right? So this type of approach, unfortunately, is completely too premature. Until we create extremely precise, likely AI-driven strategies of separating nothing from something, this tester, in my opinion, cause more iatrogenic harm for average person than benefit. Again, if you have unlimited resources, if you have a really advanced concierge doctor for whom you're paying $50,000 or $100,000 in case of Peter Attia, who can counsel on you precisely, then go for it. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, I will never do that. Just for myself. Even though you can imagine that I can probably decipher on my own what I'm looking at. But I don't want to do this because I also don't see any actual benefit in essence. I mean, there are other ways to early detect things. There are other ways to identify possible shifts and pathologies, and it's not an MRI. And the fact that, Trump's medical team, oh, MRI is fine, his health is fine. That is kindergarten, you people. I mean, not having a tumor doesn't mean you're healthy, right? I mean, you can have a complete metabolic screw up in your whole system. Your cells may not be healthy whatsoever, and your MRI is going to look perfectly fine. So it goes both ways, basically. All right. Um, so Jeff, I completely disagree with your statement, and we can agree to disagree. And I will fully respect and everybody who decides to do this, I'm fully in respect of your opinion. I just want you to be careful. If something is found, make sure you're very careful at how you handle this. All right. Okay, let me finish two more things here, and then I'll pass it on to Ellen. So, do you have thoughts? New lower
No,
quote. Yeah, I think it's
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah. The reason my wife had it done, it was right after I was diagnosed with cancer.
Uh-huh.
And a doctor said, one of the doctors I saw said to my wife, excuse me, not a bad idea for yourself to get checked. I agree with you, but at the time we were panicking. I had long COVID. Nobody
Sure.
knew what the hell it was. And then diagnosed with cancer before they figured out COVID. It was a bad time in our lives.
But you see, Jeff, this is not a like routine situation, right? There was a reason. You were panicking. This is what I'm talking about. Like, if there is a real reason in there, no matter whether that reason is more psychological, I totally get that. What I'm really stating is that there's a notion in the longevity community and anti-aging community that everybody should get MRI come
Oh,
55. Like, I'm
yeah.
not kidding. I'm hearing this in multiple presentations that, oh, it saved this patient, it saved that patient. Yeah, it will save lives. I have no doubt about it, but it also will take lives. So my take on this is we're just simply not technology there yet. We will be there very soon because my prediction is the moment AI takes over half of radiology, which it will be 100% more accurate. Like the current radiologist quality of a exact diagnosis is probably sits between 80 to 90%, depending on the issue you're looking at. I'm guessing AI will sit between 99.1 to 99.9. Like it'll be way more accurate. I mean, we already know about this with things like diagnosing some neurocognitive disturbances based on a certain software, like a neuroquant. All right, let me just finish real quick. I know, I'm sorry, I'm running out of time. So
Thank
yes,
you.
I do like the lower potency Moderna. So if you can get it, do it. It's 65 plus. Is it a lot safer? I don't know. I don't think we have a side-by-side comparison, but I have recommended it to some of my patients. If you can find it, do it. I have nothing to add. If you're taking antibiotics, how you take probiotics. You can take them as a food. You can definitely take kefir or yogurt twice a day. You can also take them in capsules. If you take them in capsules, try to get some broad spectrum and that it has at least 10 billion colony forming units. Of course, good bacteria probably would be a good choice as well. I'm going to put plug for Elise company there. Um, and I tell my patients to take. Yeah, I think that's a good. But I think the Mark put a really nice comment in there, so thanks, Mark, for that. All right, so I'm sorry that we're kind of wrapping up really hurriedly, but I just want to make sure that Ellen gets her full time with us. Thank you so much for being back. We're
Oh,
in this crossroad between the winter and, well, between the fall and finally winter is here. I think it's such a great time to have a TCM, traditional Chinese medicine perspective on how should we be thinking about this change in the weather and what should we be eating somewhat differently. So Ellen, thank you so much for coming.
oh, it's always such a pleasure, Misha. I love being with you guys. So, hi, everybody. What I'd like to do today, I have two different areas I'm going to be sharing with you, and I'd really, um, my intention is for you to have an experience, right? This is a mindfulness experience of really your sensing and feeling body and integrate that with things that I'll share with you about, particularly because Jeanette and I were going back and forth what to talk about, this holiday season, which is, kind of full of a lot of different things for people. So, because we had a lot of information just come to us, I'd like us to move our bodies a bit, and we're going to do some Qigong. So, if you feel like you're capable of standing and moving, we're just really going to be standing in place and just kind of shaking, which is a opening practice that we do in Qigong practice to really help us kind of let go of uh, what we don't need and to activate and open up our meridians and channels in the body. I'm an acupuncturist and we work on these electromagnetic lines called meridians that aren't your blood or your lymph or your nerves or your muscles, but it crosses all of that. And it really is about moving that, what we call chi, that potential energy through the body, which always makes us feel better and always helps to clear our mind. And so we're going to do a little shaking and a little bit of a heart form because I feel like this is a time, even though it's not the heart time according to Chinese medicine, it's more kidney time. Um, I think in these times, heart is what's called for. So if you're able to stand, please do. If not, make sure when you're sitting that you just have room to just kind of bring your arms out and put your feet on the ground. Okay. So I'm going to move back and hopefully, okay. All right. So I just want to know, can you hear me well enough? Just somebody put in the chat yes or no, or somebody yell out yes or no. You can hear me? Anybody?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So what I would like you to do is to stand with your feet about hip width apart and just allow your knees to bend and be soft. We want to just, and I want you to just, if you're not wearing shoes, that's ideal. And if you're sitting, you can do this too. Just kind of lift the soles of your feet, kind of grab your toes, lift the soles of your feet, just lift your toes up, let them drop to the ground. Allow yourself to just feel your feet on the ground and feeling the ground underneath your feet. That's support. And just take a few deep breaths. Think of your byways as an acupuncture point, GV20, 100 meeting point, up to the sky. Just take your shoulders back and down so that your chest is open. And just imagine all the pores in your body are open. So you just are receiving the energy from where you are in your room, but even beyond the walls, you're receiving that clear, what we call yang qi, that light, that daylight energy into your body. So just take 3 deep breaths, breathing out through your nose, breathing out through your mouth, rather. Just letting your body soften. Just feeling, here I am right now. Noticing if any thoughts come in, you can just notice them like clouds passing in the sky, and then come back to your breath. Feel the breath go in through your nose, the temperature of that, and out through your mouth, just feeling what that temperature is. And now just wherever you are, standing or sitting, turn your palms out, take a breath in, and as if you're lifting chi, maybe your hands feel heavy. you're lifting them way up to the sky. Feel that line, that long line from your feet. You can grab your toes a little bit to your fingertips. Take a breath in. Turn your palms outward and then press that energy down, almost as if energy is pushing against your hands and you're pressing it down, relaxing your shoulders. And again, breathing in, lifting that clear yang qi up to the sky, holding your breath at the top, turning your palms outward, letting your palms pressing that clear yang qi down, that earth back into the earth. One more time, breathing in. Holding your breath at the top, turning your palms outward, pressing that qi down. If you feel like there's some resistance in your hands, that's your qi. That's your interaction with where you are. And again, if you're standing, what I'd like you to do is just to start bouncing or shaking. And like really noodle arms. If you're sitting, you can shake too. You can just shake your upper body and you can, move and wiggle your legs with your feet on the ground. And really try to take a deep breath into your whole body. And imagine that you're like, you have an eggshell around you. That's called all that stress and tension and have to do this, I have to do that, or this is going on. And just imagine that it's like a little chick coming out of the egg and the eggshell is just cracking and falling to the ground. But your interior structure is strong. It's vital. Your spine has a good line to it. And imagine that you're just shaking your bones and all the tension around your bones, starting at your neck and going down to your shoulders, dropping your shoulders. You can even think about your arms if you like basketball. You can think about like loose dribbles, just that looseness in your hands. Just letting your arms shake out, opening up the armpits, which is the beginning point for the heart meridian. We forget about our armpits, but there's energy in there. That's that gateway from the center of your body out through your arms, to your hands, to your fingers, to your sensing hands, to your fingers that feel, that touch, that receive input. And just breathing. Going down your middle back, that place between your shoulder blades. And don't be shy, nobody's watching you. So you can just kind of shake your arms and move your body around a little bit, just shaking out that area that gets so tense, especially if we're sitting in front of a screen where we don't really breathe so deeply. So we want to really open that area up, down into your diaphragm, that area right below your rib cage. Shaking that dome of the diaphragm, letting the digestive organs get some energy just from that movement in there. And if you're alone, you can even let a little sound out. That helps the chi move, helps the body open up. Moving down your spine to your waist. And again, if you're sitting in a chair, you might want to lean over and shake a little bit to open up your spine. And if you're standing now at your waist and below, allow your sacrum and your hips to move, letting that kind of shake and breaking open that compression that we get from sitting so much. Breathing deep into your lower abdomen, into your, what we call the Tantian, the cinnabar field, that area that our pylite light lives, keeps generating energy when in the cold energy, in the cold season, hot season, the change of seasons. That's really the bowl of our procreative energy, our generative energy. Just letting that shake, shaking it down into the bowl of your pelvis and into your hips, and into your legs. Again, if you're sitting, you can kind of shake your legs back and forth. You can even just, if you're sitting, you can lift one leg and just shake it out and shake the other leg out. But standing, just imagine all that tension kind of going through the largest bone in your body, the femur. Very important bone, of course, in that hip socket, giving us that gateway between the ground and the sky. Down into our knees, letting your knees kind of open up that pivot joint between the femur and the tibia and the fibula. Those are our calf bones. And this is good too. It strengthens the knees a little bit from just shaking and using our quadriceps. Again, feeling the ground underneath you. Feeling your calves now, shaking down into the ankle joint, that very important pivot joint that needs to stay flexible, stay grounded. That's that juncture between the upper body and the ground. Very, very important to get that ankle joint moving. And just shaking, letting go anything that you don't need. Thoughts, tension, worry, the past, things that didn't go right. Just use this chance to just let it out of your body, just shaking into the ground. And then if you're standing, you can shake out a foot and shake out the other foot. And then coming back and now just shaking the shoulders and shaking your arm bones, thinking that just your elbow really important too. Again, that juncture from the center of the body out into the lower arm to the wrist, to all shaking your fingers. Just shake your fingers. And now just shake to the side. Again, if you're sitting, just moving your body to the side. You know, we're a very forward and backwards kind of culture, but moving to the side and keeping that flexibility in your spine is really, really, really important. It's also important for our perspective, right? That we don't see things one way. We see things to the side. So if you're shaking to the side, just allowing your body to look at, letting your vision see what's in front of you on the side there, checking out the room, checking out where you are. Here I am in space, coming back, shaking. And then just wherever you are, standing or sitting, just allowing that to soften a little bit, slowing it down, keeping your knees bent till you come to a quiet place and just feel your body and notice what you notice. Maybe you feel warmer. That's your circulation. Maybe you feel tingling in your fingertips. That's your circulation. Now let's do that movement again that we started with, a transition. So breathing in, turn your palms out, lifting up the cheek. Allow your hands to be heavy, feeling yourself like you're lifting energy up. You're actually manipulating and moving energy with your hands. Breathing in, turn your hands out and press that chi back down to the earth. You know, Chinese medicine is really about the balance of yin and yang, rest and activity. 2 more times. Inhale. Cooling and warming, activating, calming, nourishing. It's all about the balance. Breathing in, one last time. Hold up your breath at the top. Turn your palms, press your hands down. Now I'd like you to just lift your elbows up so you're kind of holding a big beach ball right in front of, a little bit in front of your belly button. Allow your elbows to rest. Sometimes we can feel tired in our arms, that's okay, but just breathe into your belly. Feel the energy in your whole body. And now we're going to do a little bit of a form, part of a heart form, and you're going to take your hands like so. So you make a triangle with your hands. And you're going to look through that area between your hands, that triangle there. And you're going to breathe in, and you're going to make 6 circles to the right, imagining that your heart energy, the love that you feel in your heart, for whomever, yourself and anyone else included, is just emanating out into the world. So you breathing out as you go down, 6 times to the right, breathing in as you go up, breathing out as you move down. Keeping your armpits open, that heart meridian open. Breathing out as you go down. This is my 4th, so I have 2 more left. Now everybody has different timing, that's okay. But see if you can take it a little bit slower than you might want to take it. Just as so you can feel the body stretching, the chest and the heart opening. And then going the other way. So breathing out as you go down to the left. In as you come up to the right. Exhaling down to the left. Breathing in and up to the right. Breathing out. Again, looking through that triangle, imagining that you have this big beating heart, which you do. And it's just kind of moving out through the world here. Opening up your body. This is 4. And this is 5. And this is 6. And after you've done the 6th one, just coming back to the center, holding that big beach ball. This is the universe stance. Grabbing your feet into the ground, lifting up your bikeway, 100 meeting point to the sky, allowing your elbows to drop. Just feeling that energy between your hands and your belly. Breathing into your whole body, allowing all the energy to move wherever it is moving. Not worrying about if you're doing it right, just feeling and sensing your own body. If you can't, if it's too complicated, just focus on your breathing. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, feeling that change in temperature. Let's do one transition. So you're going to open your palms here and you're going to breathe in. You're going to stretch your chest open. And then you breathe in up here, hold your breath. Turn your palms out, press down. And then one more time. Breathing in, open your chest. Up to the top. Turning your palms out, pressing down. And then bringing your hands to your loose fists. And what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of strengthen our heart, right? Not our physical heart, but our energetic heart. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe out and you're going to push one hand to the side and then you're going to turn it over and you're going to pull it in and you're going to pull in your breath. So it's like you're getting rid of what you don't need and you're taking in what you do need, some nourishment. So we're going to do 6 times each side. So let's start to the right. I'll go the other way so you don't get confused, but you start with your right hand, okay? So, okay. Breathing out. And out. And we're going to do 6 times each side. And out. And this is a great thing to do even in the sitting in the chair. And out. Think about what you don't want anymore. Pull what you do need in. Maybe you need some joy. Maybe you need some strength. Okay, this is 4. 5. Breathe in kind of strongly through your nose so you can hear it. And 6. And allow your hands to come to universe pose again. Move your body. If you're feeling too tense, just shake it out. Feel what you notice. Warmth. Part of your body you didn't notice before. Fatigue. Whatever it is, that's just fine. Just breathe into it. Allowing your body to soften. Feeling that energy in your fingertips. And now we're going to do that another transition. You're going to breathe in. And breathing out, opening your chest. So nice to open our chests. We don't do that enough. Breathing in. And now flip your hands down and then just press the energy down. And then put your left hand in the center of your chest and your right hand on top. And we're going to do the same heart circles we did before when we were like this, but now we're going to do small ones. So you're going to breathe in and up to the right and exhaling down to the left. So you're kind of stretching your skin a little bit. You're just opening up that chest area. So ready? Breathing. I'll go to the left. Breathing in. Exhale. Breathing in. Breathing in. Really moving that torso around, just allowing that energy to move up in your upper body. You don't move that part enough. Okay, I'm on 5. Feeling the stretching of your skin. You can even pull down as you use your hand to kind of press down. And coming back, relax your shoulders. Grab your feet in bubbling spring into the ground. 5 way to the sky and go the other way. Breathing in. Exhaling down. 6 times. Breathing in. Exhale. Breathing in. 4. Breathing in. 5. Moving that upper body. Just as much as you can, even if it's a micro movement. And down. Coming back. Bringing your arms down. Lifting the clear chi up into the sky. Flip your hands down like this and push that chi down. Now take your hands behind your back, palms upward, reaching out. We call this holding the 10,000 things, all the beauty, the waterfalls, the trees, the plants, your animals, the people you love, the sun, the moon, whatever it is, holding that. If you're sitting or standing, bring your right foot to your left. Take all of that beautiful life energy, taking your right hand under your left and press it, bring it into your body, into your lower dantian. Just stand for a moment or sit with your feet together, breathing into your lower abdomen, shoulders back and relaxed. Bai Hui, 100 meeting point, opening up to the sky, grabbing your feet. Just noticing your body, soft, alive, vibrating. whatever it is. Maybe it's a little tired. That's okay. Just noting, tired. Letting your hands come down and just shake them out. And take your hands and just rub them together until you feel a whole bunch of energy in there. Maybe your hands get nice and warm, kind of generating that healing energy that you have for yourself. And wherever you feel like you need it, maybe you have an ache or pain or your eyes or your shoulders, when you feel like your hands are nice and warm and hot, or you're done, just put them there. Close your eyes. Just allow yourself to notice. Notice the weight of your hands upon that part of your body. And notice the sensation of your body under your hands. Nothing to do, nothing to think about, just sensing and feeling. And then when you're ready, you can just let your hands slide down and come to your seat if you're in a seat. Okay. And just type into the chat like a word of what you notice right now or how you feel. Okay. Whatever, just something. Anybody? Come on, you're all alive. I know that. Lighter. Yeah. Tranquil. Yeah. What else are people noticing? You might be agitated. That's fine too. Tired, inspired. I love that because inspiration, inspire, means to breathe in. So whenever we breathe in, we're bringing inspiration into our bodies, right? Which has so much potential. Warm chest, grounded, relaxed, tired but relaxed. Yes. This is something so peaceful. Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, there's so much that we hold, and especially these days, there's so much coming at us. And, to help our nervous systems really regulate, it's really important to have that balance, again, that yin-yang balance. And we can do it. And we just did that for like 10 minutes or 15 we did. But you could just do, I love the shaking exercise because you can do that for 2 minutes in the morning to get going. You can do it for 2 minutes at night before you go to bed. It's just a really simple what you would do in the middle of the day when you've had enough of everything. I mean, it's a beautiful way to move your chi, move your energy, release tension, activate your liver chi, etc. So I hope that you can find time to do that. If you have a big physio ball at home, those big balls that are at gyms, you can sit on that and bounce on that. That's a really nice thing to do. If you have a little trampoline at the house or at your gym, you can jump on that. It does the same thing, but it's just a way for you to really activate and move your chi and let go without changing your life. It's a very important practice. When I went to Chinese medicine school for 4 years, we had Qigong a lot, and shaking practice was very, very important. And sometimes I do it before seeing patients too. So, okay. All right. So, like Misha said, we're moving into this time of year, which is kind of confusing a little bit because it's winter, and winter is when we're supposed to be resting and going into deep hibernation and really regenerating. When I first started studying Chinese medicine with a wonderful teacher, Jeffrey Ewan, here in New York City, he said something that stuck with me from 30 years ago. And he said, winter always appears to be the most barren time of the year. Nothing's growing, everybody's inside under coats, but it's the most important time of the year because that's when the most vital activity is happening underground. That's when seeds are regenerating. That's when bears are hibernating, etc. So it's really important to rest. And rest is not something this culture values. But we can't have activity without rest. We can't have day without night. So um, so that's what and it's dark, so we want to go to sleep earlier, we get up a little bit later. Um, so we've got that element of the season, but then it's also the holiday season, which is like for many people a very frenetic and a chock full time of year that brings all kinds of stressors. So what I wanted to do today is just talk about that and see if I can share with you. Actually, I want to hear from you what your, when you think about the holidays, what or the stressors of the holidays, what word comes to mind? And if you could just put that in the chat, we can have a conversation about that. For me, the holidays, I live in Portland, Oregon. I always come back to New York. My husband died, it'll be 6 years this January. And it took me he died right before COVID. So it took me a while to figure out, because of COVID, I couldn't travel, that I needed to be with family and my dear, dear friends from New York. So I come here every year for like 5 weeks, and I stay here past my husband's death day because there's just too much for me emotionally going on. So I need to be surrounded with the love of my crew. So that's for me the holidays. Um, so that, there's grief that comes up. So many people, this is a time of grief. So it's a stressful time internally if you're not a Christian. Yes. I remember once I was very stressed out about Christmas and I'm like, why am I so stressed out? I'm so mad. I was so angry. And then I realized, oh, I'm Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas. So yes, or if you're Muslim or if you're Buddhist or if you're Baha'i, so there's that too. Yes. There's the financial pressures, there's the expectations, there's the family expectations and the family dramas. There's travel, there's money, right? There's all of that. What else for people then when you think about the holidays? Managing overcommitment. That is so true. Lots of things to do before the end of the year, leading to stress. Okay, so for stress, and I'd like you again, put it in the chat. When you're stressed, what happens to you? Self-reflection, really important to do at this time of year, of course. Again, that hibernation time, it allows us to gives us space to do that. So when you're stressed, what is it? Is it a physical thing or is it an emotional thing or do they just get smushed together and you can't figure out what? Your gut, right. Definitely. That vagus nerve goes straight from our brains down through our stomach. So butterflies in your stomach, loose stools, things like that. Will next year be better? Gut, a lot of gut things for sure. But like Linda asked that question, will next year be better? We don't know. But can we be present in 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 our lives enough to just from moment to moment, so that we can make choices for ourselves? But let's talk about this gut thing because I think, and then I'll talk about what Linda kind of brought up too. Um, yeah, that gut thing of stress, and then you've got food. And usually people have foods that are very rich. There's excesses of it. If you're working in an office, there's candy and cakes everywhere. People bring you candy, they bring you wine, they bring you all these things that you may like, but you wish you didn't have in your house. Um, and I would say, I agree. But so how can we manage that? So I wanted to share with you some ideas about that. So first, what I'd like to do before I go into more information, I'd like for us to just relax for a minute, take a deep breath in, just take two nice deep breaths, kind of reset ourselves. Just drop down into your body, soften your shoulders and soften your mind, soften your heart. Breathe into your belly. Feel yourself sitting wherever you're sitting. And I'd like to just share a little exercise, a little food exercise. Remember, I asked you to get a little piece of food, snack. Does everyone have something? I hope. Okay. So the food thing is when we get stressed, it's very easy to not pay attention, to just kind of eat and kind of we don't know until afterwards that we're not feeling well. Again, this whole thing about balance we talk about in Chinese medicine and Chinese dietary therapy. In winter, we want to eat more warming foods. We want to eat foods that are easy to digest but very nourishing at the same time. But if we're not present in the moment of eating, or if we go to a party and we're hungry, we can eat things that may not work for us. And we don't know it, like I said, until after. So what I'd like you to do is just to get whatever food you have. I have a couple of goji berries here, which are like a raisin. Can I see it? Yeah. And I'd like you to take your food or your drink, and I'd like you to look at it. Like imagine that, looking at your glass of water, like you're a scientist kind of researching this object. I'd like you to look at it. If it has a texture, I'd like you to feel it and kind of put words to what it's feeling. Like mine is kind of sticky, hard, but squishy. I'd like you to smell it. Mine is dried, so it doesn't have a smell, but give it a name, the smell of what you're smelling. Okay? I'd like you to listen to it. Like if you have a little orange, you can put it next to your ear and kind of, but if I squish this little, it's a little, again, that sticky kind of sound that you might hear sometimes, maybe if you have a liquid, it's swishy. Okay. My hands are clean, but, and now whatever you have, whether it be liquid or food, I'd like you to just put it in your mouth, but don't chew it. Just let it be there. Again, just see what you notice. Maybe like I notice my goji berry, it's kind of hard, but there's a hint of some sweet, but not really. So you can just kind of roll it around or swish it around in your mouth. And then if it's something you can chew, I'd like you to chew it. Slowly. Really paying attention to what you're noticing about the flavor. And then I'd like you to swallow it. So again, yes, loneliness is a big thing too, Randall. I'm so glad that you're here with us. And now just put it in the chat. What did you notice? Like for me, the goji berry, which was sweet, it's kind of then had a kind of a deep, kind of smoky little bit of a flavor. So anything in the chat about that? Nobody? But anyway, what you can do is take it slow when you're eating because your digestive system will work better. You won't eat as much, and you might have a new experience of the food that you're eating. You might like it, you might notice. I noticed more flavor than I usually do. That's right, Kathy, because when we eat fast, we don't notice the flavor, right? But when we eat slower, we notice the flavor. So during the holidays, you can maybe when you're going to whatever, event you might going to or at home, just have a mindful meal, as they call it. I know that I'm getting close to the end here, so I just wanted to talk about a couple of herbs that are really good in this season. And I talked to you guys about ginger before, and I'll talk to you about it forever because ginger is so good for the stomach. You can grate it and to make nice ginger tea with some lemon and some honey. You can freshen up vegetables. You can freshen up soup. You can squeeze it and put it into a soup. It's warming. It helps your digestion. It also has kind of antimicrobial, antibacterial qualities, so it's good supporting immunity. Um, of course, the spice cinnamon, it's in your cabinet, but it's good. It's warming, it's good for the kidney, it activates your digestion. Again, that's a nice way to give flavor to something very simple. Poaching an apple or a pear with some cinnamon and some lemon and some ginger makes like a delicious dessert that isn't sweet and sugary. Um, Chamomile tea, whoops, very good for the gut, calms the gut down, very nice with some ginger in it if you like, or just simple with some honey. It really helps to calm the nervous system and also calm the gut, so it helps digestion. Um, pep Ginger will not keep ginger keeps you awake. Ginger doesn't have any caffeine in it, but if you put it into regular tea, the caffeine in the green tea will going. Jeanette said to keep going. Great, I'm going to keep going. Um, Peppermint, even though we want to have more warming herbs in the winter because it's cold outside and that yin yang balance, that yin is more cold. We want to nourish and activate our yang, so we want warming foods. Peppermint is cooling, but it's such a good digestive herb. And also, if you're feeling like you're getting a cold, very nice. Again, ginger is forever, I'm telling you guys. Peppermint tea with ginger, lemon, honey, and if you're brave enough, a pinch of cayenne. It just is really calming. That honey is very good, very lubricating for the throat. The peppermint has a kind of up and out kind of action on the body, so it lifts your spirit. It helps disperse that kind of heat that you can get if you're getting a sore throat. Um, Fennel is another lovely we don't really cook with this so much, but you can make fennel tea. Like if you ever go to South Asian Indian restaurants, sometimes at the exit they have fennel. It's a very, very good digestive. And your kitchen cabinet has like a digestive thing going on. It's all good for it. Cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, nutmeg. We use those herbs, cardamom, nutmeg, we use those in Chinese herbal formulas. We use cinnamon in herbal formulas. We use ginger in herbal formulas. So these are potent, but they're not going to disturb you. They're not going to be they're food grade. I mean, you don't want to eat them all like a lot, but you just use it in your cooking. You can put it in with rice. You can make like squash with cinnamon on it if you're more sweet. If you want a little bit more aromatic and savory, sage is a beautiful herb. Putting aroma in your house is a really nice thing. You could just put sage in hot water, let it steam, and the smell will activate you and make you feel better. Yeah, Jeanette does fennel and mint tea. That's beautiful. Yes, it's a very Middle Eastern way of doing it. Rosemary is good for the mind. Um, it's one of the most potent herbs in the blue zones in the Mediterranean. It has a lot of antioxidants in it. It's warming. I love rosemary. Rosemary roasted with potatoes if you eat them. Um, Rosemary and lentil soup if you make it. If you eat animal food, rosemary and mint. Mint, if you cook lamb, which is very warming, in the Middle East, they use mint a lot, and that's a very, very nice balance, that yin-yang balance of the very warming lamb meat, which is very nourishing and tonifying, and the cooling aspect of peppermint. Another thing you can do during the holidays is not be hard on yourself because, we don't have to be perfect and we just need to be forgiving for ourselves and enjoy as much as we can. And if we, overdo it one day, just know in 2 days it will clear up. It will move out of your body and you can reset. And to reset, you want to just eat more simply, where you don't have to, especially for those of you who suffer, gut stress during the holidays. Again, soups, soft rice dishes or porridges, sweet potato, not yam, so much sweet potato I find are easier for people. Winter squashes, all of these things are good for your gut. Probiotics, fermented foods can be beneficial as well. Um, any questions? Any of these spices interfere with blood thinners? Oh, that's a really good question. And there might be some, isn't it that grapefruit, I think, interferes? I'm not sure, but I'll look that up and I'll send it to Jeanette. But they're pretty benign. Again, you're not eating them all the time. So anything to help with the vagus nerve. Well, Qigong, because, we want to tone our vagal nerve, but we want to kind of regulate our nervous system. And I think that's the most important thing because if winter is the time of rest and regeneration, it is a time that we can reset. We can take more time um, to be quiet. We can take more time, like this shaking thing. I'm telling you, if you did this, Jessica, every day, just like 2 minutes a day, I'd just be curious what you would find and notice. Or if you're feeling tense and you shake, animals when they're traumatized, they shake to release their trauma. So, little things can activate old things in our bodies. So you can just shake it out. Maybe you're not going to do it in the middle of a restaurant or something, but um, if you just put that into your daily life, I really encourage you. I think you're going to find some benefit. If you have a meditation practice, if you have a yoga practice, if you're a knitter or do something where you have repetitive motion, it can also be really beneficial. I hope that answers your question. Okay, I think I want to wish you a very good holiday and yes, and jujube someone mentioned and just that question of loneliness. I think this community really is helpful even though we're on screen. Let's just know that we're loved, that people care for us even if we're not with them and I hope you care for yourself and have a beautiful holiday and a very happy and healthy new year.
All right. Well, Ellen, thank you so much for being with us. And we wish you happy rest of the year. And I don't know if Janet posted what we have next week, which is, I believe it'll be 12th, right? Um, so yeah, I'm pretty sure it's at 12. Um, Janet, do you mind posting? Otherwise, oh yeah, great. Thank you. So we're gonna have Allison, who is the registered yoga therapist. She's been with us before. I'm sure she's gonna do some yoga, and I'll be with you as well. So see you all around.